Welcome back. In this lab, we will connect to the two EC2 instances we created in the last video. We will use Ssh Instance Connect and RDP. If you have a Windows PC, it comes preloaded with Remote Desktop. You may just need to enable it so you can connect to the Windows instance. If you're a Mac user, you can download the RDP application from the App Store so you can connect to the Windows instance. This same application is also available for free through the Microsoft Store, so please make sure you go and download these before starting. For either Windows, Mac, or Linux, you can use SSH to connect to your Linux instance. But for anything that has a browser, you will be able to use Instance Connect to connect to your Linux instance. Let's get started. Let's start by going to the EC2 console. Our instances should be in the running state, and the status checks should be completed before continuing with this lab. And since they are, we can go ahead and connect. Let's first select our Linux instance and then click on Connect. There is a couple of options here, but we will leave it on the Ec2 Instance Connect tab. And as you can see, it is using our public IP, and it has preloaded a username for us to use. Let's go ahead and click on Connect. It should now open up a new tab with the Linux terminal loaded. Let's start by confirming this is the IP we just saw in the previous window. We can run ifconfig. And as you can see, this is the same public IP address we just saw. Let's run the ls command and see if there's any file in the directory. As you can see, there isn't anything here, but let's change that. We can run echo. This is an example, firstfile.txt. And this command is from a previous video we did. And as you can see, it creates a file in the directory. Pretty cool, right? And just simple. I mean, we didn't configure anything. All we did was hit connect. Now, let's move on to the Ssh Client Connection. Let's click on the Ssh Client tab, and as we can see, there are some instructions for us here if we are either using Linux or Mac. In Mac, we can open up a terminal window. Now, if you don't know where you can find the terminal application, you can open up your applications, scroll down to Utilities, and then click on Terminal. Once you have the terminal window open, we can run the ls command so we can figure out which directory we're currently in. I have saved my PEM key in a folder on my desktop, so I will run the cd command and then type desktop, which will take us to my desktop, and then run cd command again, and then type keys. This is the folder where I currently have my PEM file stored. Once I'm in that folder, I will copy and paste the command from AWS in step 3, but I will run it with chmod 600 because it provides more administrative rights than running it with chmod 400 like in step 3. We will go back to the Ssh Client tab and we'll copy their example command because this is actually providing the user. It's specifying the key we want to use and the IP address we need to connect to our EC2 instance. One thing to keep in mind, once you start configuring your users for your AMIs, is that if you change the username, this command will not work as it is warning you here. Let's go back to our terminal and paste the command and hit enter. As you can see, we are now connected to our EC2 instance. We can run the ls command to verify that the file we created through the Instance Connect is still there. Now, let's do the same thing here in Windows. I will pull up my on-prem Windows server. I can pull up the command prompt by typing cmd in the start menu. We can check if we have SSH enabled by just typing SSH and then hitting enter. This should display the options we have when running the SSH command in our command prompt. We can run the dir command, which is the equivalent of running the ls command in Windows. We will run the cd command and type in desktop, and then run cd again with keys. This will take us to the keys folder where I currently have my keys stored. I will copy and paste the same command here that we ran on my Mac, and I will hit enter. As you can see, we are now connected to our EC2 instance. We can run the ls command to verify that the file we created through the Instance Connect is still there. Now, it's time to clean up our lab. We will go back to the instance page in our EC2 console. We can select our EC2 instances and then click on the instance state. And then click on Terminate Instances. It will ask you if you are sure if you want to terminate. Just click on the Terminate button. If you click on Refresh, you might see your EC2 instances either shutting down or terminated. Now, it may take some time for them to disappear from your instance page, but don't be alarmed. They have been terminated and no longer there. It just might take a second for them to clear off the page. I hope in this video, you got more hands-on with this lab and feel more comfortable launching and connecting to EC2 instances. I'll see you in the next video.